Welcome back to 7 Moons Astrology. My name is Sarah Kirby. Today we're talking about Jupiter in Aries. This is a transit that's covering from May 10th to October 28th, but then Jupiter will take us backwards into Pisces one more time before it heads into Aries for the better part of next year. So this is a forecast that's going to focus on that initial transit for the first decan of Aries. That is the first 10 degrees of Aries. Jupiter from now, the summertime, all the way until the fall. This is a big energy where we're going to notice palpable shifts in how we feel. Jupiter is the great benefic. Traditionally in astrology, this means that it brings good fortune, good opportunities, open doors, and a sense of ease. Things sort of working out for us, things working out on our behalf. It's the energy of the trine. You don't really have to try too much for good things to occur. But really what I think I see more in practicality is that Jupiter is the expansive energy, right? It just sort of blows up and magnifies any energy that it's interacting with. And that can bring, of course, good things. And that can bring, of course, shadow energies for any sign that we're working with. The best illustration of this is to revisit where we've just been with Jupiter in Pisces. Now, what is Pisces? Pisces energy is about dreams. It's about our fantasies and what we want to see occur in our life in an ideal, almost, fantastical, illusory type of way. It's about the divine. It's connection and compassion. So you might have noticed over the past 6 months a greater sense of compassion for people, a greater connection with their emotions, and that could have even been tumultuous, right? An inability to separate, struggling with boundaries is very common under this influence. But the other things that you might have noticed were a deeper sense of intuition and connection with the divine. And underpinning all of the confusion, that's a Pisces term, was a sense of hope and faith. But the confusion was something that I heard from everybody a lot, that was the lack of clarity was one of the most prominent influences of Jupiter in Pisces. And then, of course, Pisces is also about loss and endings, surrender, grief, having to let go of things, right? And so I think all of us, especially with this previous eclipse cycle here, experienced a great deal of this energy because we had so much Pisces energy this spring. So, when we think about Jupiter, it's an influence that magnifies and expands. It's the energy where our consciousness is working on growing and gaining wisdom and mastery and learning. What is my philosophy? What is my ideology around this energy, right? How do I work with this energy, these concepts? It's really the area our soul and our consciousness is trying to expand into. And so you can just see a lot of focus on these themes. Now, Jupiter likes to be in Pisces. That's its home sign traditionally. But then you saw, of course, that you could still get some of the more less than ideal circumstances arising even in an energy that Jupiter is quite comfortable in. So ultimately, what happens around any influence that Jupiter impacts is that typically, even if we can't see it right away, it ends up being for our benefit. It's just not always so obvious in the beginning. So with that context, I want to give a quick general reading on what Jupiter in Aries is going to mean for all of us, and then we will get into a 12-sign forecast so we can talk about the kinds of opportunities and open doors and themes that you might be working through in your life as the influence of Jupiter transits Aries for you, specifically by your 3 big signs. So Aries energy. What is Aries energy all about? Aries energy to me is about striving. It's about ambition. It's about our goals. It's about what we want, what we desire, my way, my ego, what I want to see happen in my life. And I'm going to get it. I'm going to go after it. Aries energy is very brave. It's very busy. Doing a lot, getting it done, blowing through any obstacle. It's a competitive energy as well. It's measuring how I stack up against other people and getting after it because I'm the best. I know I can do it. What I want. I believe in myself to get it because I'm going to do anything it takes. That's the underpinning of this energy, and that can be a good thing because we're going to be able to position ourselves in a way in which we take risks that maybe we wouldn't normally feel comfortable with, right? This is a leap without looking type of energy. This is an energy that says, I have one life to live, and there isn't a single minute to waste. So that's the other thing about Aries energy, is that it's quite urgent. And I can see that being one of the things that is expanded upon easily with this Jupiter influence. It's this sense of restlessness, that fire sign passion that is like, let's go, let's do this right now. There's no time to waste. Gotta, if I'm not doing every single thing, then I'm gonna lose, right? I need to take action now. And sometimes it can be urgency for urgency's sake, impatience in making a decision. Every time we need to make a decision, we're going to move from this like Pisces confusion of like, oh, I need to sit with my emotions and I need to think this through and I'm not sure how I feel. And 1 minute I feel this way and 1 minute I feel that way. And I don't know. And what does this person want? And what is this person feeling? And I can't figure it out. And I'm so confused. Like that's the Pisces energy. That's the Jupiter and Pisces energy. Nuh-uh. We're going to see a radical shift here as Jupiter moves through Aries. It's going to be make a decision. Let's just do it. Make a decision. It reminds me of that like Nike slogan, just do it, because that's how we're going to feel. It's like, let's go. A decision needs to be made. We'll clean up any messes later. Take action. That's the inner drive with Jupiter in Aries. It gives us a certain sense of strength, right? And strength is a concept. Strength and movement is a concept that is really common. So you might see an increased interest in, like bodybuilding and exercising and taking better care of yourself and doing hard things. Aries enjoys a challenge. Aries enjoys a challenge. Aries needs challenge. And if you don't challenge yourself throughout this transit, and you will, but if you don't, you'll probably experience more of that like urgency and anxiousness and restlessness, the like, I got to do something, I need to be doing something energy. So the other thing is that we can move way too fast. So we just want to make a decision. We want to just act. This can be an energy where you might look out for a tendency to get yourself in like little accidents here and there. Cut yourself while you're cooking, bump your hip while you're walking, stub your toe, drop this, break that, because it's just an explosive energy. Everything we do with explosive force, and we're just fast. We're just super fast. So you want to be mindful of that energy as well, especially because not only are we fast in what we do, but the emotions can be pretty fast as well. So it can be easy to erupt into anger. It can be easy to find yourself getting into conflict more just because you are going to feel more rooted in your sense of self to the degree that you might be feeling a little bit more argumentative, or people in your life you may notice may be a little bit more argumentative. There's going to be a greater ability now for all people to tap into more self-assertion. And so if you're not somebody who's normally like that, this can surprise folks around you, right? Self-assertion is a big theme with Aries energy. Playfulness, joy and adventure. It's a fire sign. It's the first sign. It's the baby of the zodiac. It's a learn by doing, learn by making mistakes. Learn the hard way. That's the other thing with Aries energy. Learn the hard way. Where am I going to learn the hard way this summer? That could be a question you ask yourself. But there's a striving and there is a naivete that lets us reach new heights. And I think that that's a beautiful energy. I think this is a good thing ultimately. Jupiter really does like to be in the sign of Aries, but of course it may manifest some of the shadow sides of Aries energy, and that's where consciousness is going to be working on growing and evolving and getting a sense of real self-mastery, control over the ego, control over time, control over where we spend energy and how, where we take action, where we believe in ourselves, which risks are worth it. And I think that's what I want to say. It's a collective energy. This might look a little bit more like a more militant minded society, and we can already see that influence building right now. So overall, it's ambition, it's drive, it's striving. And so I think each of us will be embarking towards something new, right? The first sign of the zodiac is the energy of moving in a new direction, starting new things all of the time, putting ourselves out there, talking with people, letting our opinions be known, sharing more of what we think and not really caring as much what other people think. And so that's the courage that we need to put ourselves out there and try something new with the innocence of a child, and just mistakes along the way, you know? So let's get into the 12 sign forecast. For this part of the video, you should watch your sun, moon, and your rising sign. Particularly pay attention to your rising sign. That is where the most direct influence is, but you'll probably notice all energies. So starting with Aries, sun, moon, or rising in Aries. Well, Jupiter in your sign is all about you. So this is a classical influence of feeling more like yourself. You're feeling more like yourself again. Putting yourself out there, doing more things new for you, trying things in new ways, doing things that you used to do and applying them in new ways, asserting yourself more. This is about growing a sense of what's important to you, connecting with new teachers, perhaps, that help you evolve what you're interested in and what lights you up and what feels purposeful for you in this lifetime. This could be an energy of traveling more and doing so just for fun, for adventure, or for business. That can be an influence that comes around with Jupiter in Aries. This is ultimately about figuring out what you want and have life go your way a little bit more, right? Life is going to go your way a little bit more when you believe in yourself, when you're courageous, when you take action, and when you put yourself out there and do it in a new way. And just who cares what anybody else thinks? And I think you'll find that you'll connect with the right teachers, the right materials that you're learning and studying around this time, traveling to the right places to help life feel easier and more fun. Now for Taurus, Jupiter is in the 12th house. The 12th house is the hidden house of spirituality and the subconscious mind. So Jupiter transiting here is going to do several things. The primary thing is that everything that manifests in your life this summer is going to help point you towards your subconscious patterns and motivations. You're going to be learning a lot about this. Perhaps you might be connecting with some new spiritual teachers that can help you understand yourself and the past more. The 12th house also has a deep association to the past. So you could be reflecting, thinking, and philosophizing about your past and putting the pieces in order in a way that helps you unpack the patterns that you want to let go of. Around this time, you might also find that you have a craving or desire to spend more time alone. And although Aries is typically a very outgoing energy in the 12th house, this could be about, I need to prioritize me, I need to prioritize myself, my own wants and my needs. And so doing that is going to look like taking a time out. Doing that is going to look like resting more, spending time in solitude and retreat. You might find yourself traveling, especially if it's for a spiritual purpose. So it could be, going on a spiritual retreat, a self-study retreat, something of that nature. Learning, studying about meditation or other spiritual practices. If you are a doctor or have anything to do with the hospital, this might be more time spent in a hospital or some type of institution that is held behind the scenes. So that could be like temples as well. Hospitals are another one that I see. Sometimes, I'm not telling you you're going to go to the hospital, but sometimes for one reason or the other, you might spend time in a hospital for a relative or to volunteer. Something like that can come up with this influence as well. Really, Jupiter in the 12th house, though, is about understanding what lies beneath the surface. And so now would be the time to focus on where you take risky behaviors when it comes to patterns of addiction, overindulgence, things that you do to escape, and bring some focused healing energy. And you might find that this can be a time where you get a lot of clarity and healing around those things. But the 12th house is also about endings. And so this can be a time where your realizations and learnings and growth related to your spirituality and sense of self and subconscious mind show you where things need to end. And that can be something that Jupiter helps bring about for you. Perhaps not this summer. You might get the inkling, the first initial learnings this summer, but then later when Jupiter is transiting through the later half of Aries in the spring of next year, especially when it comes conjunct Chiron, that might be a time where you see more of the endings. But at least in this beginning part here over this summer and fall, this is going to be about identifying where you need to let go and surrender. So for Gemini, Jupiter is in your 11th house. This is a very auspicious influence. The 11th house is about your networks, your friends, your social circles, groups, audiences, people you connect with. And it follows the 10th house. So the 10th house is about your career and the energy you invest into your role out in the world. And so the 11th house is often associated with rewards and recognition. So since Jupiter was just in your 10th house and you were coming up with new ideas and new opportunities for business and for work and your role and where you want your career to go and dreaming more about what that would look like. When Jupiter transits your 11th house, this is about seeing the fruits of your labor manifest to some degree. This is about growing your audience and the people that you connect with, finding more of a tribe, friends that you really feel aligned with, and learning from them. This can also be about joining groups and organizations that you are studying with, teaching in, or learning from. This is a great time where your social circle can feel easier and more fun, and you will have the courage to take more risks in groups that can help stand you out as a leadership position. So this is really, it's a good influence for sort of increasing your impact among people. So for Cancer, Jupiter is entering your 10th house. This is a beautiful influence for career. It's a very lucky alignment that helps bring new opportunities and open doors for you in terms of what you do out in the world. This could look like a promotion, a job change. It could look like identifying more of what you want your career to be and heading in that direction with courage and confidence. This could be about taking action and risks that you need to take to build the trajectory for yourself that you want to. This will also expand your public reputation, helping you to be seen more for what you do and recognized for what you contribute out in the world. This is a great energy for overall feeling like you're getting your life direction where you want it to go. This is about climbing hierarchies, building structures, building something that you want to last, and putting in the work to make it happen. And this is something that I think will bring you a lot of joy and fun. And I think because of that, it should feel easy along the way. So Jupiter is going to be helping expand on what is meaningful for you in terms of your work out in the world. For Leo, Jupiter is in your 9th house. This is a fantastic energy for anything having to do with school or higher education. Perhaps you're wanting to study something new or apply your efforts into education in a different way. You might be teaching as well. That could be something that comes up here with this energy. And it's super beneficial for anything and everything that you might want to do in the educational sphere, supporting you learning and adopting new philosophies and embodying more of a teach while you learn type of role. This could also be an influence where you have a lot of new teachers come in that you really connect with and help expand your mindset in a way that illuminates possibilities for you that you didn't even realize were on the way. This is also an energy that's very supportive for travel and adventure and just having more fun in life. It's about kicking responsibilities to the curb and just enjoying a little bit more, feeling more optimistic, feeling more hopeful after a period of time that could have felt a bit more stressful. This is also an energy having to do with commitments. And so this can be a very auspicious time to make an important commitment in your life and one that can help grow your soul over time. The influence of Jupiter in the 9th house is also something that helps and benefits anything having to do with foreign affairs. So if you are trying to get a visa, trying to make a big move that involves sort of red tape and law and judicial systems, this is a beneficial influence. And for anybody that is involved in any kind of lawsuit or something related to legal matters, Jupiter coming in here can help make things feel easier. And so that's also a good influence if you're trying to do something related to law school. So any and all of those things will sort of be elevated in your conscious mind and in a way that helps expand and grow your consciousness. Okay, so for Virgo, Jupiter is in your 8th house. The 8th house means a ton of things, so this could manifest in a lot of different ways. First and foremost, this could be like the increased prominence or importance of joint financial agreements that you make with other people. So whether or not that's a partner, working out details related to that. This could be something looking like your partner gets a raise or a promotion and you have more money coming in through a partner. This could be about a business energy where you're looking to get investors and you have money coming in that way. way. This could also be an energy in which you are working to figure out your situation when it comes to debt and any loans that you have, and trying to figure out your financial agreements that you have with other institutions that are supporting you. This can be a time where you invest and take on more debt, but for a good reason. Perhaps it has something to do with going back to school or investing in a business. This could be an energy that also has to do with things like insurances and taxes, fines, fees, and inheritances. And so some of you may come into some more money through one of those means. But the 8th house is not just financial matters. The 8th house is also topics of the occult. It's associated with Scorpio, so it's about what we have deep inside of us, our deep psychological motivations, our traumas, things that we really need to heal and transform within ourselves. And so Jupiter coming in here is going to make those patterns very obvious in the first hand. Okay, so the very beginning of this could feel like, whoa, there's all my problems, right? The 8th house is a stickier kind of energy where typically we don't experience it as feeling that nice. It could feel very penetrative, and it could feel very provoking, showing us all of the shadow sides of ourselves that we don't necessarily love to see. But what's great about this is that you will have the courage and the will to really bring the energy necessary to face these things and to heal them head on. Jupiter coming in here is saying this is the focus of the growth of your consciousness, is to understand these trauma patterns and to transform them. And it's going to help you do that in a way where you can feel more optimistic about it. So even if it feels uncomfortable at points, I think that this is something that is actually really beneficial in the long run. Now, the 8th house is also about occult topics. So you could be taking an interest in things more related to like crystals, witchcraft, astrology, anything that people deem as taboo, sex, all of those things come up now where you might be interested in studying those things in a more formal way and learning more about them for the way that they help you get a sense more of how the world works. So for Libra, Jupiter is entering into your 7th house. This is a fantastic energy that can bring you opportunities and open doors when it has to do with partnering with other people one-on-one. So this can be a time period in which people come to you and say, let's collaborate on such and such thing. You make agreements one-to-one and they work out beneficially for both parties. This is about mutually beneficial agreements. This can be a period in time in which any of your one-to-one relationships begin to feel easier and more expansive, especially any personal romantic relationships or marriages can start to feel more relaxed and at ease after a big period of growth. And so this is a time also in which your partner might be growing quite a bit, your partner could be evolving quite a bit, and your partner can be receiving a lot of opportunities. So for some Libras, this might not look exactly like this is happening to me. You might witness it more in your partner's life where your partner is really expanding and growing. And then naturally there's more energy for the partnership to feel easier. So this could be about partnering in business with another person. It could be about making more agreements and deals that are really beneficial and auspicious. And it could also be about your partner experiencing those things as well. This is going to be a time in which you're normally quite partner focused, but you're going to have more energy focused on having fun, learning, growing, taking risks together with another person. So for Scorpio, Jupiter is entering your 6th house. This is an energy that brings a lot of activity into your daily routine. This could look like doing more projects, working more, but feeling better about it, feeling more relaxed about it. Or it could mean that if you've been really busy and it's very stressful, that starts to get more relaxed. So one or the other there. Jupiter's expansive influence is going to bring more attention to the way that you spend your time. So it's either like more on your plate and these are things that you like and these are opportunities that are bringing you good things, or it's like less on our plates and we can take it a little bit easier and it feels more fun and carefree. This is also an influence that brings a lot of attention onto your health and your fitness. And so sometimes what this can do, and I'm just giving you a heads up here, is that it can bring more attention to latent health issues that you didn't know were there. But if it does do that, Jupiter has the tendency to bring a quick and easy, effective solution along with it. So it's like, oh, here's a health issue, but here's the perfect solution for it if that happens. And if you are someone who's been struggling with a lot of health issues, Jupiter coming into your 6th house now could actually help to alleviate some of those problems. So this can be a time in which you might notice yourself having an urge to do a lot and feeling a little bit more anxious or impatient about getting things done. So you just want to be mindful to understand that a lot of times the pressure is simply internal and it's created out of a desire to achieve more. And that's a good thing, but you don't have to kill yourself over it. So I would just watch that. But ultimately, I think that this is a good energy for doing work that feels much more opportunistic for you, more beneficial for you in that way. You might be learning something new and that adds more, studying something new and that adds more busyness to your plate, something like that around this time. But ultimately, whatever Jupiter is doing here in your 6th house is going to end up well for you. All right, for Sagittarius, Jupiter's in your 5th house. Whoa, super beneficial energy, making a trine to your ascendant sun or moon. In the 5th house, this is all about life feeling better. This is all about feeling more aligned with your authentic self, having your confidence skyrocket, having more fun in life, feeling more optimistic, doing more of what you want to do, feeling like yourself again after a very long South Node transit in your sign. This is an energy that is also going to have you learning more for the fun of it, studying things that you want to study, traveling, going places that you want to go, spending your free time in a way that feels much more expansive to you. A new teacher could come in where you are working together in a way on something creative. And this is also an energy that is really auspicious for any businesses that you run. The 5th house is about creative endeavors, and so that does include any entrepreneurial activities that you have going on in your life, in which Jupiter will expand those things and actually bring a lot of good fortune and open doors your way. Jupiter in the 5th house is also about feeling a deeper sense of romance in life, more pleasure, more ability to just enjoy the experience of living. And so your dating life might get a boost. And the 5th house is also the house of children. So this is something to pay attention to if you don't want kids, because it's an energy that is really supportive for bringing children into your life experience. But with Jupiter, it's usually more, it's a wanted thing. So if you are trying to get pregnant, this is a beautiful time in which that really could be more accessible for you. But if you're not, otherwise, if you already have kids, this is an energy that can make your relationship with your children feel more full of ease, more playful, more fun, more adventurous, and learning and growing together, doing more new things together. But for everyone that is a Sag, Jupiter in the 5th house is about trying more new things for fun, putting yourself out there in a way in which you probably normally wouldn't have. It's like you would kind of stick to the things that you know about yourself that you enjoy, but under this influence, suddenly you have the confidence to kind of put yourself out there in a new way and find that maybe you do really learn a lot and enjoy things that you might, not have normally thought about. So for Capricorn, Jupiter is entering your 4th house. This is an energy that can do a lot for you when it comes to your sense of security inside. It can make your home life feel better. It can make your family feel more connected and more easier to get along with. This is an energy that could support you in making a move that feels important to you. Lots of new opportunities on the docket when it comes to where you live, what you do with your home, your property, or acquiring more property at this time. This is an energy that is going to make it easier for you to feel secure in who you are and your background and your history and where you've come from. You can feel more at peace with those things, and with that greater sense of security, you can then move forward in a way that is more courageous and more confident to take a little bit of risk, put yourself out there. This could be an energy in which you are willing to make a move that you haven't previously considered, sort of feeling more bold in that way, where you could make a move across the country or decide to put an offer in on a house. This is also an energy that could just expand your family in general. So it could be a time to welcome in a child or have another family member move in with you, or even get a pet. It's an energy that could also have you doing more projects around the home, renovating something, purchasing, moving. Any and all of those things are possible with Jupiter in the 4th house in the summer through the fall and also the spring of next year. So for Aquarius, Jupiter is in your 3rd house. This has a lot to do with creative business endeavors. So you might be doing some more projects involving yourself in trade, sales, marketing, advertising of some kind, doing some branding for a business. This is an energy where you might be studying something new that's important to you, applying your time towards learning new skills. This could be an energy where you are dedicating your time to writing or communicating in a new way, improving your mindset, which will definitely feel more hopeful and optimistic around this time. This could be an energy where it feels easier to connect with siblings and extended family than it might have in a long time. You might be traveling to connect with them more. You could find yourself taking a lot more short trips and where you're like kind of learning and connecting with different teachers. This is also an energy where you might find yourself having an opportunity to get a new car. You could also find yourself connecting with your neighbors and community more. This is an energy about connection, which will make it much easier for you in all types of people. All groups of people will feel like the connection is more seamless now. Learning a lot, growing a lot, and connecting with the right people to put you on your path in the way that you need to be best positioned for the future, where you're going, to help you make more money, to help you feel better about yourself and get yourself where you want to be. All right, lastly, for Pisces, Jupiter is in your second house. This is an energy that's very auspicious for your financial life. So it can bring you a lot of opportunities to make money in a new way, to make more money than you have before by doing something differently. It can help you to learn more about what you do to make money. It can help you get more educated about being smart with your finances. This is an energy that is really about growing your wealth and your security. This is also an energy that could have you learning more about food and what you eat, what you put in your body, your nutrition, and having more focus on those things. Jupiter in the second house also tends to give you a sense of more optimism and self-esteem. It can sort of raise your awareness and your consciousness of your sense of self in a way that sort of helps you make more sustainable change when it comes to the patterns of how you think about yourself, and your thoughts will be more positive when it comes to your body, yourself, and your value and what's important to you. Jupiter in the second house can also suddenly have you wanting to collect a lot of things, because the second house has to do with material possessions. So you might find yourself sort of wanting to gravitating towards having things that you have collected along the way that feel important to you and represent something meaningful to you as well. So Jupiter will have you focus on, Jupiter in your second house has you focus on what's most important to you when it comes to creating sustained security in your life and learning a lot about how to do that both inside and out. It's an energy that increases prosperity overall. Alrighty, so that's my forecast for the first half of the Jupiter in Aries transit. This is going to change a little bit when we move into next year. Like I said, Jupiter will be conjunct Chiron. It doesn't really come into too tight of a conjunction here this first period of time, so I don't think we'll see really too much influence from Chiron here in this beginning part, but I will make an update to this topic once we get closer to in the spring, because Jupiter conjunct Chiron in the sign of Aries will look a little different, but here really we're going to be focusing on having more energy and putting it to good use. So thank you for watching with energy.